Hello and welcome to Box, a Formula One podcast. I am Yuki Tsunoda's 5-place penalty, Shannon Hayes.
I am Lewis Hamilton's slither into the gravel, Sam Cockcroft.
And I am Mick Schumacher driving 2 laps without a front wing, Merrill Huseman.
Today we are obviously covering the very wet, slippery, and exciting, but also kind of boring Imola GP.
What? Boring?
There was a safety car out for a majority of the race.
I'm gonna second that because I was doing other stuff while watching the race, and I felt like I didn't miss a ton, which.
Okay, agree to disagree.
There was several eventful moments.
Yeah, but aside from those eventful moments, the rest of it was maybe pretty standard.
I feel like there was at least some rivalry between the top 10 or throughout the whole race.
Yeah.
Especially
but most
Lando.
of it happened under a yellow flag where you couldn't pass each other.
I would say maybe the second half of the stuff that I watched.
Yeah, the second half was very exciting.
Yeah, the second half was good. I mean, to be fair, that's where the most of the action happened too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my thing is that it's very exciting to obviously have a rainy race, especially in the first bit, right at the start when everyone's going to crash and spin and tumble. That's exciting. But then when it keeps going and you have to keep stopping the race every 2 seconds, it's kind of like, okay, let's
True.
Let's wrap it. I don't know, it gets old for me after a while. And especially if it's not causing any major upsets. Obviously it did cause a few upsets, which were very significant. But, at the front, at the end of the day, we still had a Verham.
Norris, though.
Well, I guess I do have to say that having 3 different constructors on the podium is big.
Yeah.
That is true.
I think normally it's been 2 Mercedes and a Red Bull, and now I was predicting 2 Red Bulls and a Mercedes. Mm-hmm. But it was not that. So,
well, I feel like we should talk about Lando's performance there at the end. That was some of the best defensive driving I've ever seen in my. The fact that he held Lewis off in a DRS zone for 4 laps is crazy.
Every lap, I was on the edge of my seat. I was just not this lap. It's not happening this lap.
Yep.
And then because I mean, at the 10 laps before finish. Leclerc was obviously still there. So I mean, that kind of helped Lando also because it meant that Leclerc was in DRS, but also Lewis. So, it was hard for Lewis to pause. But once Lewis passed Leclerc, I was like, it's over because, there's just no way, a McLaren can defend from a Mercedes. That's just not going to happen.
Lando's tires were also...
Yeah.
Yeah. And also he was brushing up against something with his knee pad, he said.
I was so confused about that.
It's putting the car in the wrong gear or something.
Yeah.
They were like, Lando, please move your leg.
There's something about the paddle. And
the paddle.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, still incredible. That was such a good race for Lando. If we could have had the Lando P2, I gotta be honest, I was really hoping for Lewis to take another tumble in those last few laps. Me too. I was like, come on, Rain, come and clutch one more time.
I was hoping he would go, he would get a penalty or something. Because, the whole time I was so hyped to have, a Max, Norris, Leclerc podium. That would have been nice to see.
The youngest podium of all time. That's crazy.
I was kind of conflicted because I put Lewis in second in my predictions, and I was like, that's the only thing that I'm gonna get if I that was the only thing that I got right because he passed Lando. So I was like, I do want Lando to do really well, and he's still gonna at least end up on the podium. So I just I think I'd rather get those points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I put Checo in first.
Yeah, but let's talk about Checo real quick. Incredible quali from Checo. No one expected that. When was the last time Max was out qualified by a teammate? ever.
Well, with Ricardo.
Like, not since Ricardo.
So 2018.
Yeah.
That's
wild. So that was incredible. And then to just have, you know...
He had 2 10-second penalties. Like, that's just because he passed, like, 2 cars during, like, safety car. Like...
Okay, here's the thing. To be fair, he's been in the sport for how long?
Yeah, that's true.
He should know.
Yeah. I mean, when they said that was the penalty, I was like, was he really dumb enough to do that?
Yeah. Honestly, when he did that and the commentators called it out, I was like, he did what? Are you have to be kidding me. Because, like, you know, also they kept noting that the pit lane is so long that it really ends up becoming like a 30-second penalty. He could have just taken the hit and, like, let the 2 cars pass for now.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Also, like, it was his fault that he like, you know, went off track.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Just a stupid move. Also, like, not solely on Checo either. Red Bull should have told him to not do that. I imagine that someone over the radio was like, oh, just get back into position or something. Because, like, why would you do that? Like...
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I can think of is, like when you're, like, racing, you don't actually always know, like, everything that's happening everywhere on the track, obviously. So I feel like it's, like... It's forgivable in a sense, but also he has engineers in his ear telling him exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And, like, that should have been more on them also, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was also literally in a line of cars and was told no overtaking and then skidded off the track and then overtook. Like, come on. Yeah, a lot of skidding off the track. That was the main theme of the race.
That was like half of the race.
Yeah, God. We also had Latifi.
Latifi. Well, that's because of Mazepin, because Mazepin hit him from the back, right?
The commentator said that wasn't Mazepin's
Latifi did kind of squeeze him. I think Latifi didn't know that Mazepin was, like, anyone was behind him. I think Latifi assumed he was in last, not knowing how slow the Haas cars are.
I'm just gonna say I'm still gonna blame Mazepin.
Yeah. I still blame him too. But I think
fuck Mazepin.
Because I guess it wouldn't have happened if, you know, he just wasn't even in Formula 1 to begin with.
Yeah.
But, I think what I thought was funny is when Latifi spun and he, like, dropped a bunch of places. I was like, he dropped, but he's still in front of Mazepin. Like, that's just how shitty he is. But
oh my god. Yeah, fucking Mick Schumacher, who drove 2 laps with a missing front wing, was still ahead of Mazepin. Like,
because his front wing, like, closed the pit lane. Like, that's what cracked me up. Like, his front wing closed the pit lane, and then he couldn't pit because of his own crash. And I don't know if you guys saw, like, when they showed him driving around, but the car without the front wing looks so dumb.
I know. There was the one, like, dangling tube coming out the front. Oh my god, his team radio, he sounded so concerned. You can tell he's such a new driver because he was literally like, is everything okay? Is it, like, should I be, like, doing anything different? And they were like, no, it's fine. His engineer sounded new, too, to be honest. He was like, I think it's fine, Mick. Just, we'll replace it when you come into pit. Everything will be okay. I promise we'll fix it. And, like, it really felt like someone consoling their child or something. That was Michael Schumacher himself in the engineer seat.
Yeah. And then the next thing that happened was Gasly on the wet tires when it was dry, and everyone was, like, on slicks or, like, even intermediates, and he was just on the wets, and, like, he was also, because that was the moment at the beginning of that, like, it was the train behind him, and, like, I think they said that every lap they were losing 8 seconds because Gasly was, like, heading the train.
Just because Gasly was causing a traffic jam, and because there's only one dry patch, no one wants to, like, go too wide. So they all just have to stay behind slow-ass Gasly.
And then he dropped so many positions.
I don't know why AlphaTauri didn't change him out of the tires.
But also, if I were him at that point, like, in my full wet tires, I would just, like, I would leave the racing line for everybody else. Like, just because my team is fucking me over doesn't mean I have to fuck over every other driver.
I don't know.
Well, you want to hold that position, though.
Yeah.
So it's...
Yeah. I don't know. I was just like I can't imagine driving so slowly like that. I guess like you are racing and it's competitive, but I would just be like, oh my god, I feel so bad. I'm holding up traffic.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Honestly, like, I don't know why they didn't change him out of it sooner, though. Because, like, even Ocon, he was, like, the only other one on wets, I think. And as soon as they realized, everyone else is on the intermediates and they're doing fine, they changed him out.
Yeah.
Like, why couldn't we do that with Gasly?
Yeah, I mean, if you're losing 8 seconds each lap, like, it really is more time efficient to just take the time to pit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Also, Alpine did not do so good. They looking terrible.
Alpine's looking bad this season. I don't know what happened out there, but...
Yeah, I think I'm not super pressed about it because half of Alpine is Alonso. And also... because they're doing worse, it makes it a little bit easier for Williams to do better.
True.
Despite the fact that both of them didn't finish today. But
we'll get into that.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm very sad about Yuki. Talking about AlphaTauri.
I want to talk about Yuki.
Yeah. Yuki had so much potential today, and
I can't believe both the AlphaTauris did as bad as they did, considering they are 10 kilometers. The headquarters is 10 kilometers from this track. This is where they film their promo videos. This is where they come out to, like, do their review. This is their home track. There is no excuse.
Yeah, I think the commentators said something about, like, when Gasly was still on the wets, the commentators, I think, were like, aren't they supposed to know, like, what conditions, like, this track has and, like, that kind of thing?
They should know it like the back of their hand. Even, like during quali, Yuki going around that one chicane, turns 14 and 15.
Yeah.
First of all, that one chicane in quali was catching everyone, and I thought it was so weird because during the race, there was, like, not a single incident there. Like, a few people kind of skidding off, but, like, most of the incidents happened at the other turn.
Yeah, where everyone flew off.
Yuki is not unique in the fact that he is one of a bunch of drivers that are on new teams this year, and they're all really doing very terribly.
Yeah.
Like, none of them are, I think, maybe except for Carlos today, are doing, like, performing at the level that people would have expected.
Yeah. Well, even Carlos, like, in the beginning of the race wasn't doing so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, I guess he finished the best out of all of the other.
Yeah. I think also, like, I don't know. I feel like it was just insult to injury to add the 5-place penalty for the gearbox change after he, like, levered the back of his car into the wall.
I mean, like, he was already in last, and, like you know it's not gonna do anything, but...
Put 4 safety cars in front of him.
Yeah.
Just to put him in 25th.
I'm just... Like, I feel like it's weird to just not give it to him because he's already in last.
That's
true.
true.
Like, they give penalties to people in last all the time.
That's fair.
But.
Yeah.
Also, talking about that, because Seb started from the pit lane today, which surprised me.
Yeah.
I didn't watch any of the pre-race stuff, so I didn't know when they said when like it started. I was like, what happened with Seb?
Yeah, he had a pit lane start because he was having issues during quali. When is he not? It's like, I feel so bad for Seb because he has not caught a... There's only been 2 races this season. And didn't he get a DNF this race too? They pitted him like one lap before the finish.
Yeah.
And they just retired the car.
I was confused about that because I was looking at I don't know if I was looking at, like, the actual finish or, like, what the grid was showing at the end of the race, but they still had him above the Haas's even though he didn't finish.
Yeah.
And I hope that they fixed that because I think that, like, I was like, what's happening?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And then he also had the stop-go penalty, and I don't know, I forget where that was for, but, like, at that point I was like, come on, just let Seb be, like...
Yeah, no, they didn't, it still says it in the results. It has Seb finishing DNF in 15. And then Mick, and then Mazepin.
That is pretty funny.
Why did they just retire the car, though? I thought that was so weird. I mean, because, like, it sounded like it wasn't a major issue that he was having. I couldn't really tell what the issue was.
Yeah, I don't either. I have no clue. But...
Maybe they were just embarrassed at that
Yeah,
point.
I think that's
like,
what they
it.
do. I think they're like, it's better to retire the car than come in, like, 16th or 15th. Because then they're like, Yeah, I know, but then it looks like they really had bad issues, so that's why he was in 15th in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay. I see.
Like, that's the only reason he was doing so poorly.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it is the car.
Okay, he finished in 15th last week, though.
It's the car.
It's the car.
I agree. I think it's the car because I refuse to believe this.
I don't know.
stand by Seb.
I think Seb might be a bit...
I don't want to say it's the car. Maybe it is Seb in the car.
Yeah.
But Stroll finished in 7th. There's...
Get out of here. It's
like,
not. It couldn't be my boy. It could not be.
I'm losing faith in Seb.
Me too. I think he's getting a little too old.
No. Seb podium. Seb world champ 2021. I'm
From the back
it.
of the grid.
Yep. From the back of the grid. You know, he's just had a rough start. He's gonna pull a Checo. He's gonna do it over the course of the season.
Yeah,
I mean.
Yeah.
You'll see. Next race. He'll be podium.
I mean, I'd love to see it, but I think it's wishful thinking.
I thought, just speaking of Seb and his legacy, I thought Ferrari had a surprisingly good race today, considering the amount of times they were spinning out. Spinala. I'm sorry, this reflex. But, like, I mean, they got, 4th and 5th? That's a good standing, especially for Carlos, who started in 11th?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Honestly, like, that's really good for them, and I think, especially comparing where they were last season.
I think it shows that they've made progress, and their car is actually good now. Well, good, but, better.
Yeah.
They didn't cheat this year.
Oh, man. You know, still not to where they'd like it to be, aka cheating standards, but close enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think, in terms of looking at, them as their, main competitor being McLaren probably this season, I don't know, a lot is riding on Danny Rick in terms of he needs to step up.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that he wasn't doing so hot today. Like, he didn't do poorly, but compared to Lando, he just didn't look strong. And at the point where they were like, yeah, we need you to, move aside for Lando because we need to see his pace without following someone. And that really surprised me. And, he shot off, within, several laps.
He was right.
8 seconds ahead. Yeah.
Lando was right to do it. And basically be like, let me pass, because
well, he proved that, it was, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, in some of the interviews that I've watched, Ricardo has said that, he doesn't want to use an excuse, but also is using it as an excuse that he's not very familiar with the car, which I think it works in some ways, but also, I mean, I think it works maybe in his case. He's only, a couple places behind Lando, whereas, I don't know if Vettel can use the same excuse for how low he finished compared to Stroll.
And the other thing that I always, that I think of is that, I mean, they've been in this sport for so long, and, how many cars have they tried, different types of cars have they tried? I don't think, I feel like at some point you can't use that excuse anymore because you've had to adapt so many times that, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Okay, but I feel like this season is very different. They lost half of their testing time.
Yeah, that's true.
They would have had an extra, I guess, couple days in the car, and that makes a huge amount of difference.
Yeah.
I guess that's the only thing that I'm thinking is they only got a day and a half each in the car.
True.
So
True.
Yeah.
Well, talking about I don't know what I wanted to segue, but this is not a good segue into Hamilton.
What do you mean that was the perfect segue? Talking about Hamilton, talking about driving cars, Lewis Hamilton.
Well, okay, here's our segue. Because Lando finished on the podium, they had this is the 700th British driver on the podium because they got both of them. So now segue into Hamilton.
Yeah, so speaking of Formula One, Formula One driver Lewis Hamilton.
I was actually so surprised when Hamilton spun off like that, because it was like in slow-mo, and then he braked and it was good and he kept going. But I was really hoping that he would stay like back of the pack. But I mean, it obviously wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah. It seemed so out of character. I feel like I haven't seen him do anything like that in so long.
Did you see the post-race interview with him where he was like, yeah, I haven't made a mistake in a while now. So that was like, he came up with such a shit-eating grin. He knew he did such a good job. And he was like, look at me.
Look at me. I still came second.
Yeah.
I looked at, when I saw him come up for the interview, I was like, he looks so happy.
So smart.
I love, he like started out with like, yeah, so super happy for Max. He drove great today. And as well for like Lando. Like they both did a great job. But he was just sitting there thinking about himself the whole time.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, God, I flip-flop so hard because I'm like, I love Lewis, but I hate Lewis.
Yeah.
But I love him, but I hate him so much sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like I like him. He's a good driver. But I just genuinely feel like if I actually knew him in person, we would not be friends.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw his Instagram post earlier today or yesterday or something, but it looked like a selfie on the toilet. It was from like a really high angle.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And it looked like a bathroom. And he does this face where he's got like these big eyes, like he's trying to like. It's a real fuckboy face.
Yeah.
I gotta say it. Like it's so. It's so bad sometimes. I don't even follow his Instagram. I just end up seeing it through the grapevine. I don't want it. I don't want to see it because it upsets me.
Yeah.
I don't need it in my life.
I mean, yeah.
I just feel like he would annoy me. Like, he's one of those people that tries so hard to be positive, and I'm like, you know what, just fucking be sad for once.
I know, it pissed me off so much, because, like, he's, like, sending positive vibes, like, he sends positive vibes, like, 24/7, like...
I'm like, Lewis, I can't take it. Stop sending your vibes.
I need negative vibes right now.
Lewis, I can't survive another vibe check. Please. I'm going to perish. It was very uncharacteristic of him.
But
sorry,
it was
just
impressive how he, like, picked it back up and, you know, came second. I thought the battle, Leclerc, Norris, Hamilton was amazing. That was, like, edge of your seat, like, battling it out.
The DRS zones, as soon as the FIA was like, all right, you can DRS again, the race went nuts.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, Hamilton's back. He's overtaking again.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
When I found out that this track was only had one DRS zone, I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous. I was like, is this gonna make it
like boring?
Like kind of boring, like that there's gonna be maybe like a little bit less overtaking and like things like that, but I'm very glad that it did not turn out that way.
I think it actually made it more exciting because it kept giving Lando enough time to put space between them to like hold them off during the DRS.
Yeah.
I also think it's interesting because I thought that, like, I was definitely predicting the big battle was going to be between, like, Lewis and the Red Bulls, and I'm glad that we had something else to focus our attention on this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still there, but it was not this, like Max was ahead. Like,
he was
like,
not going to get
past.
no
fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think it's also, like, I kept thinking about being in Lando's shoes here. I think Lando, like, the whole McLaren team, it was so cute how hyped they were for him. And, like, also just being Lando Norris and knowing that, like, you went up head-to-head with Lewis Hamilton and you defended for that many laps.
For so long.
And just assuming, like, growing up as, like, a British racing fan and just have that interaction with the guy who I assume is your hero. I assume he's everyone's hero in racing in Britain. Like, you know, that's insane. That's an incredible race.
Right now, the standing is, like, I mean, Max is at 43 points, and Hamilton is at 44. They're so close. And Norris is in third right now in the driver's standings.
Yeah.
Woo.
Impressive.
So, that's hype.
Very exciting stuff. I think finally we should move into the biggest occurrence of the race. But before we do that, why don't we hear a quick word from our sponsors? right. We're back. We're ready to talk about the big drama.
The biggest drama. The saddest drama, too.
Yes.
The saddest drama. Okay, so what we are, of course, referring to is the crash between Mr. Valtteri Bottas and Mr. Georgiathan Russell. And, yeah, it was a big, messy crash. A lot of debris. The whole red flag had to pause the race for like 15 minutes to clean it up. It was intense. After, I don't know if you guys saw it, but like when we were watching it, when they went off and like George got out of his car, Valtteri was taking a moment to get out of his, and I was scared because like he was just sitting there, and I was like, is he like okay? And then George started walking over, and we were
rage.
Like, well, we were like, oh, that's sweet. He's gonna go check on Valtteri to make sure he's okay. And then no, it was the interaction was Valtteri. First of all, very funny scene of him curled up like half George's height, like inside the vehicle, and you just see a tiny little middle finger poke up.
Half of his middle finger.
Poke up from the cockpit, and then George leans in to smack him on the head. It was so funny, the change of, oh, that's so sweet, George is going over to check and, like, help him get out, but no, he's going over to chew him out.
So aggressive.
I first I have to just say, before we get into the details, I think that it says a lot that they were in the same position, able to crash into each other. Yeah. Like, that... First of all, that Bottas was so low in the standings, and also that George was in the points at that moment.
True.
Like, the fact that you had a Mercedes and a Williams right in the middle of the grid actually in the same position, mind-blowing.
Yeah. True.
Agreed. Also, like, okay, I kind of want to get into it. I think it was George's fault. I'm just going to say it. I think it was 100% George's fault. I think, like, when you see the Kimi cam, because Kimi was right behind them, it's pretty undeniable that was George's fault.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can... So I think it's George's fault, but the level of blame that Bottas is putting on George, I think is a little bit unfair.
Think he got pushed off a bit, though. Like, I think he was trying to, like...
I think he was spooked off of the track. I think he had plenty of room. I don't think Bottas was pushing him off, per se. I think he was just following the racing line. And I think George hit the wet grass because he saw a sudden movement and got scared, which he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have jerked the wheel like that, because then obviously he just immediately spun into Bottas. I think it was on George mostly.
Mostly on George, but I think, it was a mistake. Like, he didn't... He wasn't like, okay, I'm being really aggressive, and, like, this is... Like, I feel like it's not the same as, like, you would imagine, like, Mazepin crashing into somebody, where it's like, you fucking asshole, are you really gonna do this right now? Whereas, like, George, I think it's, like, you can cut him a little bit more slack. But maybe that's just because we like him.
It's just a bias. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I kind of, like... I think that it's on both of them to an extent. Like, Valtteri shouldn't have jerked his wheel to, like, spook him, per se. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, like, there was still enough room. George could have continued on his line and been fine. There was no reason.
It was just so sad because it was George. Like, George would have scored points today. Again. Yeah. Like, why does this always happen when he's in the points?
Yeah.
So sad.
It's always a Mercedes fucking our boy over. We would have had our, like, first prediction of the season come true, being that George gets points in the Williams.
Yeah.
That would have happened today.
Yeah.
I was gonna go back and edit that prediction in from the predictions podcast. I was gonna put that in. I was so ready to do it when I was watching this race. I was like, well, I guess I'll go back and check off that bingo card for us.
It's definitely only a matter of time now. Yeah. Now that we're, like, a little bit deeper into the season, I am convinced that, like, he needs... Well, first, it depends on how he, like, handles this whole situation in the next race. Because I feel like it's gonna affect, like...
How did he do in Portimao last year? Did he do well, or...
I can't remember. I just think their car is just so much better this year than it was.
It is.
Like, both Williams in Q2...
Yeah,
mind
wild.
blowing.
Crazy.
That was exciting.
I don't know how the Williams is so fast this year. It is crazy.
So fast.
I love how we say so fast. They finished in 12th and like 14th.
But like compared to usual.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I think this season is going to be really good. It's just exciting to see, like, I mean, okay, it was wild that Bottas was in 8th, but it's exciting to see that Mercedes isn't doing so good anymore.
Yeah. Can I actually give you, if I may, can I give you one? Well, first of all, okay. I want to talk about the fact that in the restart for the race, everyone that was lapped, including Lewis, got to just make up the lap. I think that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I understand why they did that, to do a standing start. I think that was fucking stupid, and I think they should have kept them lapped. I don't know. Because, like, that's the only reason he was able to catch up, is because he could unlap himself. Which brings me to my conspiracy theory, which is that Toto called it into Bottas to spook George and the Williams and cause the accident, knowing that there would be red flags out, and knowing they would do a standing start. That's what they wanted, just to get Lewis back on track, because they prioritize him. This is yet another Bottas slight.
I don't know. As far as conspiracy theories go, I'm not super convinced.
I think that's a great conspiracy theory.
Before the crash happened, they were, in line to not have either car in the points, pretty much. Like, they were both, down in, 11th and 8th? And then now we have Lewis, at least, in 2nd. That's more points than they were going to get. Because of that red flag, which Toto called in, 100% called into Valtteri to get. Because of that. He called both of them. Toto's got his voice going into George's ear as well.
You're basically telling me that Toto was willing to maybe have Valtteri experience serious injury in order to have Lewis finished in the points.
You're telling me he would not seriously injure Bottas for the sake of Lewis Hamilton?
And also that Bottas would seriously injure himself?
Well, maybe he called it into George then.
Both of them, they were going like 180 miles per hour.
They were going so quick.
Yeah, but, it's all for Lewis, baby.
So scary.
It's all for their king.
King Lewis. For Sir Lewis.
Sir Lewis Hamilton. It's all for him. Toto was at that desk. He called that shit in. You know what? There's going to be an expose years from now. And it's going to detail that. And I'm going to come back to this episode and listen.
And they're going to interview you.
They're going to interview me, and they're going to be like, how did you know? And I'm like, well, I just have an IQ of 3 million, I guess. I don't know. I just know these things. What can I tell you? Oh, man. Anyway, I'm calling it. That's my conspiracy. We got to spread this like wildfire.
New York Times, right. Shannon's ready for you.
Well, let the record show I am unconvinced.
Yeah.
Also, I did look up George's finish in Portugal last year.
Yeah.
There was only one retirement, and it was Stroll, and he finished in 14th. So,
okay.
Oh, okay.
I have a lot of faith in him for next week. Or 2 weeks.
No, it's next week. No, 2 weeks. Yeah. The other thing is that I did want to say that last time we mentioned that Mazepin would spin, and he did today, so...
He did spin. He didn't get that DNF, though, and I would like to say that my last prediction came true, that he would drive a lot more cautiously this time, and he did. He was going super slow. I don't know if you saw anytime they cut to Mazepin, but he was going, 25! He was taking it like it was a residential zone, which it kind of was. There was a lot of houses around
there was a lot of people on terraces everywhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I can understand the confusion on his part, I guess.
Yeah. He thought he was taking his nice car for a drive in the countryside.
Yeah, Sunday drive.
Yeah.
Well, let the record show that my previous predictions have come true, and so I think my prediction about this this conspiracy will also be correct. My batting average is 1,000 right now. You cannot take me down. I am the Oracle.
Oh my god. Anyone have any last thoughts about the race? Any concluding
It's
thoughts?
fucking wet.
No.
Were you or was the race?
Me and the race. So fucking wet.
Together.
They interviewed Lando right before they went out, and they were like, oh, how's it looking out there? And he did the quote again. He was like, it's wet. It's rainy. I love it.
I mean, it was. It
Right.
sure was.
It's like the start really stresses me out, like when all you can see is just the
the spitting.
the water behind them.
Yeah.
Like I would not be able to drive like that.
Yeah.
And at the speeds that they're going, it just makes me so anxious.
Yeah.
Just knowing that I could, I guess, never do that.
Yeah.
I already get stressed driving on the highway in rain. Imagine
Yeah.
that, but you are also trying to, like, overtake
Go
the
like
other
160 to 200 miles
Yeah.
an hour.
drivers. Yeah.
Hold on. Miami.
Oh yeah, Miami.
That's my last thing. I just want to say that even though I was wrong that the TBD race was not in Florida this year, I would like to say that I was not completely wrong
Close
that
enough.
they were bringing Florida
Next
back.
year. Next year.
Mhm.
Yes.
I think that. Are you guys gonna go? Am I gonna see you there?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you think I'm not gonna
excited.
turn up in Miami for a Formula One race, like it's a fucking like it's Ultra Music Festival
Yes.
or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna take the streets
I am
of
so
Miami.
excited.
Dude, oh no, guys, wait. I'm gonna take my when did they say when it is, or they just said 2022?
They said second quarter of the 2022 season.
So I can take my
So.
I was gonna say my summer break, but I guess whenever I'll just take 2 weeks. I'll come to Miami with you guys. We'll fucking ball out.
Yeah. We could
Record the
we
podcast
should-
together in Miami. Have
on
some
the beach.
yeah, with
Oh,
the
no.
waves crashing.
At the track.
At the
Fucking
track,
in the paddock is what we're gonna
Maybe
do.
we could try interview
Okay.
some of the drivers.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, I have
Well,
one more closing thing. I just want to say hi to all our new TikTok followers. Because it's wild. We have 723 followers now,
Yeah.
which is
Crazy.
insane.
Your TikToks pop off. Like, I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's all
but I
Meryl.
just want to shout big shout out to our new TikTok fans.
fan. Yeah.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hello. Welcome. We love you. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah.
That's
Stick
it.
around, look
Yeah.
around, see what we have to offer. We've
Yeah.
got good content.
Some good banter.
Some witty banter with the lads. So, no lads allowed, actually. This
No
is
lads.
Girls
Only
only.
lads.
Only ladettes.
Ladettes.
This is a ladettes only podcast, actually. No lads allowed. If you're a lad, get the fuck out of here. Don't you dare stream this. Don't you dare give us a like and a follow. Don't you dare subscribe to us on Spotify.
I petitioned to make lad gender neutral because I feel like it's such a good word.
It's so good.
I have
mean-
been using it gender neutrally.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's like
Yeah.
I use guys gender neutrally. I can't say
Yeah.
that.
it's the gender neutral lad.
Yeah,
It's,
lad.
You
Yeah.
know,
Come on, lad.
it's like the royal we, the gender neutral lad.
Anyway, with that,
With that, thank you so much for listening. New TikTok followers, you already know where to find us on TikTok, but if you'd like to follow us on our other socials, well, first of all, we are at Box Podcast on TikTok and Instagram, and at Box Pod on Twitter. So you can give those a follow to get updates on when we post. We post every Monday at 7 p.m. a new episode. And we also
EST.
have EST, yes, for all you international folks. And we also have sick, dank memes, especially on the TikTok, so check out the TikTok, let me tell you. Yeah, and thank you for listening. We'll see you next week with a special
yeah,
reported piece from Miss Nerl.
yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
see what it is.
We'll see. All right, ta-ta for now.
Auf Wiedersehen.